first Executive Council media briefing. With me this afternoon are three esteemed gentlemen. The Secretary to my right, Secretary Pollard, Secretary to my left, Secretary Baines, and the Director of TEMA, Mr. Stewart. This afternoon we will do three quick things. I'll ask Mr. Stewart to do a quick summary of where we are as it relates to the oil spill. Maybe I should make reference to the fact that we have started in our reporting because of where we are with the maintenance of the cleanup and so forth for the oil spill. We have sort of amalgamated our Executive Council briefings to include information about the oil spill. So I'll ask Mr. Stewart to do that. I will then ask Mr. Assemblyman Baines to give us a little bit of update on what's happening in his division. And then we'll round up with Assemblyman Pollard giving us a little bit of information about what's happening in his division. So, Director Stewart, I'll throw it to you. Just give us a summary of where we are as it relates to treating with this quote-unquote oil spill on the island.
Certainly, and I want to thank the members of the public for sticking with us. I always lament that, when the cameras move away, sometimes that part of the story remain untold. And we are in a position where we are seeing the light of day, or what some people may see in the light at the end of the tunnel. And I have reported previously that we have reached a stage where we can say we have climbed that very steep hill and we are at the plateau. In other words, we have Operation Gulfstream under control. Probably I should use this opportunity in the same breath to actually thank those persons and the agencies involved, a multiplicity of them, members coming from all the way from Trinidad, some abroad, and the input they have made on this particular event. At this stage, I will take, for example, what is happening on the shore side of things, meaning therefore there is cleanup continuing, but it's a different type of cleanup where you will not be seeing heavy equipment, more taking care of the aesthetics, especially along the coastal area of Scarborough, moving further down to Lambo. So that to me is going quite well, where power washing has started on the some of the stones of what we may call the protection borders that deals with the coastline. That has started. Heavy flow of high volume flushing is taking place along those stones to ensure that the trapped hydrocarbons that may be found and continuously plague us from time to time, they are finally taking care of those, and to me that speaks well. Also, I would like to speak to the issue of the salvaging. The salvaging has become a major concern. In my own estimation as incident commander of this very huge project, or this huge undertaking, this incident, we recognize that we ought not to be deceived. I called it what some people may call cut flower syndrome, where you could be deceived by the eye of the storm and think that you're going through a passage of calm, but things can happen. And I just want to alert the population that until we are clear in terms of the quantities that are in the various cells of the vessel, then we are not out of the woods. So the cleanup continues. We have, I think, all of the major implements and stakeholders and subject matter experts that have surrounded this incident, and they are lending their support. We are looking at de-escalation now. We are also looking at scaling back in certain places, demobilization. Going forward, Madam Chair, there will be, the GOC will be no more at the Scarborough, where it's on the Milford Road, located at Smithfield Trist, and the junction of Milford Road. That will be no more by Friday. We'll revert back to the Emergency Operations Center, where we'll continue to manage this event from. And those are steps as it relates to scaling back. We are looking forward for those persons who need to be taken care of in terms of making sure that we pay attention to the billing rates and things like that. We have been getting the technical advices where those matters are concerned in an effort as we scale back the operations. But we are very mindful, let me repeat it again, that that vessel still have a content of hydrocarbon that we have to pay attention to. Otherwise, we may just be going through the eye of the storm, where on the other side we could be hit again. So TNT Salvage, that group, we are very much impressed by the work that they have been doing in terms of the implementation of the Novi system. That technology is working fine, where it is scooping up the oil that is at sea, and even based on what the plan from the Ministry of Energy and Energy Enterprises speaks to whatever is leaving our shores and heading to other territories. There are 4 vessels involved, I'm being told, and 2 of the Novi system have been deployed here on the island around our coastline, and the other 2 are deployed out at sea doing the necessaries. I think I will pause there for now so that we can, go in a different direction. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Director Stewart, for that comprehensive outline of where we are at this point. Before I hand over to the Secretary with responsibility for ComDev, I would like to just bring to the attention of Tobago the fact that part of our response to the hydrocarbon spill has been a community health surveillance that has actually been happening in the Lambo area. This is a project that we started a couple weeks ago because we had identified some individuals within the Lambo community indicating that they may have been getting medical or health effects because of where they were associated with the spill, because where they live, for example, associated with the spill. So we started a surveillance process some time ago where individuals were identified, individuals have been data was collected from those individuals, and we're talking about both qualitative data and quantitative data, where we periodically go to them, ask in essence, how are you feeling? What are the symptoms that you're having? In addition to having the blood pressures and blood sugars and other kinds of quantitative data collected continuously. We've also been able to set up a medical post, a mobile medical post, so that if there is need for immediate attention, that is available. This is a process that we will continue for some time, just to ensure that the residents who are closest to ground zero, particularly those in the Lambo area, since that is the area where people reside primarily, that we will continue monitoring the health status there, and we will continue ensuring that whatever is picked up, we are able to treat with it relatively early and relatively easily. What we've recognized thus far has actually been very, very good news. The individuals who identified issues at the beginning, we recognize that some of them may have also had, we're going back to the word we used in COVID, comorbidities, meaning they were already dealing with other health issues. So this may have just exacerbated some of the other health issues that they were dealing with. But they seem to be pretty okay. They seem to be going in the direction of being fine. But we will continue looking at those individuals. We will continue monitoring them, and we will continue ensuring that they know that we will take care of them if there is need for medical intervention otherwise. I just wanted to highlight that since it is something that we have been doing. We have not spoken about it publicly, but I thought that it was a good opportunity to indicate that we have been doing that kind of medical surveillance as part of the response to this quote-unquote oil spill, because we recognize what is the potential of what can come out of this. At this point, I would like to turn over to the Assemblyman responsibility for community development, youth and sport, Secretary Terence Baines, to give us a quick update on some of the activities happening within your division. So over to you.
Thank you very much, DCS, and a very pleasant good afternoon to all our viewers, to the members of the media that are here, and those who take an interest in what is happening in the Tobago space. I just wanted to highlight 4 items which we believe are of importance for the public, and we ourselves at Community Development are very happy that we are able to offer these offerings to the public. We want to start with what I call one of our premium offerings at the division, what we call the road market. This has been happening for quite some time. Next week, the 27th and the 28th, we will be having the 8th installation. So it's road market 8 in the Plymouth area. We are actually having 2 days this year. And for those of you who may be familiar with the road market, it really is, as it is called, it is a road market, and it is set up to encourage and to bring some lift and to assist the communities and people in the communities, entrepreneurs and so on, where they can showcase their goods and sell and all that kind of thing, and give a boost to their work and their businesses. We are doing it this year 2 days because we are having 2 cruise ships coming in, one on the 27th and one on the 28th. And we have been having some conversations with officials over there at tourism and so on, so that the tour guides could be directed to bring some of those who choose to come to visit the road market and so on, and certainly that will be of benefit to what is happening there. It is a full offering. We're going to have, of course, all kinds of food and different things that are indigenous to Tobago. In fact, the theme for this year is totally Tobago, Tobago made, Tobago inspired, and Tobago grown. And so, we can expect to see entrepreneurs from in and around the Plymouth district, Plymouth, Blackrock, Bethesda, Lescotto, Golden Lane, that particular catchment area. Some 50 vendors will be plying their trade on those 2 days, and we believe that this will be of a tremendous boost to the communities and to the people there. So that is Road Market 8 on the 27th and the 28th, which is next week, Wednesday and Thursday. Secondly, the flagship program of the division is the vocational skills offering that we do every year. And the registrations began this week, on Monday this week. And as a matter of fact, as of today, we have registered 1,800 persons, and it continues to grow. And so I am sure that we will cross the 2,000 mark by Friday. And next week, persons can come into the division between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. to pay their $100 registration and so on, and get into the various classes and all of that. That has been a very successful program. This last year, we graduated close to 1,200 thereabout students. And we are very proud of that program, and we are going to continue with that. So if you have not yet registered, the door is closing, the sun is going down. You need to, and we are very, very encouraged by the interest that people take in these programs and so on. And so we're going to continue with this. The third item is the the Ministry of Youth and National Service, since last year, we have been having some conversations and collaborations on some of the programs that the ministry has been engaged in. Of course, you know, CCC, MyLat, MyPath, these types of programs fall under the purview of that ministry, and the minister has been talking about how they can extend and expand the footprint here in Tobago. Of course, we already have CCC here, and we are talking now about the possibility of having MyLat and MyPath as a part of the offerings. As it relates to CCC, you may know that CCC was originally up at the plant in Mount St. George before this administration came into power. And then there was a decision to move them from there. I believe the intention was to have, I was told, some form of university and so on, and they were moved to a place in Otley Street in Scarborough, a place that is woefully inadequate for what they do. And CCC has been doing exceptional work with our young people, and we know how important the discipline and the skills training is to our young people with all the different social challenges that we are facing. So we are now having some conversations, favorable ones, I must say, about getting CCC back to their original spot in Mount St. George, and so that they can continue with the work that they're doing. And that is something that we are very excited about, and we expect to get everything in place and see if we can move on this post-haste. The final item is also that an offering of that collaboration. When we met officially last year, the minister indicated that there is a program that they're doing where they're erecting some shade houses across the country, and trying to engage young people in particular, you know, in farming and that kind of stuff, and promised to send 5 of those shade houses to Tobago, and they have kept that promise. So yesterday we had a site visit of four of the sites to install these shade houses. All the sites are quite favorable for the needs of the installation, and so there is just some technical stuff that we are working on now, and we expect that these shade houses will be up and running. That's a lot of the young persons in Tobago will have an opportunity to be a part of the program, and this certainly is something that we appreciate and welcome, and we are happy about it. So those are the things that I wanted to highlight from us here at the division. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Secretary Baines. I will now hand over to Secretary Pollard, the Secretary with responsibility for settlements, public utilities, and rural development, to give us an update on some of the activities happening in that division.
Thank you very much, DCS. A pleasant good afternoon to journalists here, those who are viewing, and most importantly, the people, the constituents of Mason Hall, Moriah. I will be talking about 3 points emanating from the Division of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development this afternoon. As you all know, we started the social affordable housing program, or home ownership made equal, last year, where we constructed the first house in 21 days at Milford Court. We have started that program this year. We started the first unit this year at Blemin. Actually, as we speak now, they are pouring concrete, the first of the 10. Files were constructed of the recipients throughout Tobago for those who are less fortunate. So we expect to complete this first unit in 35 days, the contractor in 35 days, and hope that we could bring much needed benefit to the recipients. So that program, like I said, is going to be continuous, because we're hoping, although we have the minuscule budget for housing from the central government, we have been able to access some funding from the unspent balances, so we could add to the $2 or $3 million we were given for housing this year, so we could construct these homes for much deserved Tobagonians. So that, like I said, the recipients will be really glad about this. The second thing I want to speak about is that last year we had an MOU signed with Habitat for Humanity. And through all the rigors of getting everything organized, us matching them with at least $1.5 million, I think, so that we could do roof repairs and retrofitting of houses. That is about to get on the way from next Wednesday. They should be here with their teams. They have identified 5 homes in Tobago that they're going to be doing the roof repairs. Land title is causing a bit of problem that we know for spending government funds, especially these international agencies. And they have identified 2 homes for retrofitting for solar or rainwater harvesting. So Ms. Masaya and Ms. Purana and her team will be on the ground from next Wednesday to start these projects on these homes. And I'm certain that the recipients will be we greatly appreciate the assistance that they're getting. It's an ongoing program, and we hope that we have more funding coming in so that we could bring much relief to most Tobagonians. The last thing I want to speak about is the housing market in Tobago. Yesterday, instruments of appointment were handed out to the board of directors of this new special purpose company, Tobago Urban and Rural Housing Corporation. They are to take over the development of all housing development on the island. That is Shervan, that we are at the point where negotiation with contractors are about to begin. The RFP for Adventure, where 140 units are to be constructed, went out, so they will be doing the evaluation and selecting of contractors, and also the RFP for Adelphi in Maysnall, which will be land distribution. And then we have Bacalet, that was purchased for Scarborough Secondary School, is now under the purview of the Division of Settlements. So later in this year, they will send out the necessary documentation for the EOI and the RFP. So we could bring much relief to Tobagonians. On Friday, we are going to have the distribution of around 80 parcels of lands to Tobagonians, who much deserved, because we have some developments in Tobago that this year that are 50 years old, like Milford Court and Buku, that we are still finding lands available in them for Tobagonians to benefit from. So we have lands available at Blemin, Belgarden, Colon, and Castara. We even have some lands available in Milford Court that we intend to use for those persons who are physically challenged, so that, because you know the terrain there is flat, it will be easy to construct for those persons. And we also have lands at Kilgwin behind the Pan Tent in Bonaccord. But we're going to bring relief to 80 families this Friday from 2 p.m. at the Division of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development. And also they are still available, although I was told when coming into office in 2022 that there were no townhouses available in Adventure. As you all could recall, that we gave the first one to Rennie Quo as a national athlete. And on this Friday, we'll be giving out the 4 remaining townhouses to deserving families. They would be, it's not going to be free, it's going to be a reduced cost because of this cash trap or shortage of funding. We're going to give it to them as is, and they do the necessary remedial work that is needed, but it will be at a reduced cost, because those units cost, the 3-bedroom cost at least $450,000 then, and the 2-bedroom cost $400,000. So families that are deserving will get that opportunity to have a home, and hope that they could bring it to some semblance at the shortest possible time. And in the housing draw we're going to have on Friday, although Colon is the only new phase that you have to go through the specified random selection, the draw, as the Secretary and the Executive Council decided, once you have a housing development that is, let's say, closed, but you still have lands or houses available, it is under the purview of the Secretary. But we have decided to use the same principle or guidelines that you use if you're doing the random draw, the same criteria we're going to use, where persons from the protective services will be allocated, persons from the surrounding community, persons on the database for 10 years and above, because we know that some persons have lost faith in the whole system and say that they have been in the system so long and hasn't been given the opportunity. And there was a segment, FCB, Homeowners Saving Accounts Holders. These young people who were asked to invest their savings into FCB and be afforded allocation of units. We're going to revive that and make sure that some of these persons, once they are interested, that they are selected or they'll be put in the draw on Friday, so that at least we could revive that kind of confidence in the whole land and home distribution. So that is something exciting, I think, for Tobagonians, because, like I said, some of these developments are 50 years old, and we are still seeing that still have lands available inside them and to distribute to Tobagonians. So we are really looking forward to doing that on Friday. It will be exciting to Tobagonians, and we look forward for greater things come 2024, 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Pollard. Certainly exciting things happening in that division. Thank you so much. I was enthused to hear that Belgarden was part of, one of the areas that would be distributed. Thank you so much for that. If there are any questions, this is the time for you to ask your questions, whether from the journalists who are here in person or those online.
This question is from Mr. Pollard. I know at one time you had a draw at your division. Some persons are telling us they are still waiting for their houses.
Well, I plan to update the public on that. I did speak on it this morning on Rise and Shine, in that it's an IADB project that NIPDEC in Trinidad that has the control. They are the project managers, and they are still outstanding some documents. They are waiting some sign-off from the IADB, so that is hindering the progress of that, that development. They just sent a report to me last week, giving me an update of what are the hindrances they are facing. I think by the final stage is that they are just waiting on sign-off from the IADB.
Any other questions? And I am not seeing any virtual hands online. So again, I would like to thank all of you for tuning in to our post-Executive Council media briefing for this week. Thank you to Director Stewart for continuing your stellar leadership as it relates to this response to the oil spill. Certainly, I personally would like to thank you. I know you started, Director, thanking those individuals who have been a part of this process, but I would like to take this opportunity to thank you on behalf of the Tobago House of Assembly for all of the work that you have done over the last, month or so since this thing happened. We've definitely shown that on this island we have the capacity to lead, and we have the capacity to do what we need to do to safeguard this greatest little island. So thank you so much. To my colleagues, Secretary Baines and Secretary Pollard, thank you guys so much for bringing the activities that are happening within your division to the attention of the population. It's going to be an exciting week, and it is going to be an exciting, as you said, Pollard, 2023, 2024, 2025, I will go even into 2026 as we go along. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a blessed and safe afternoon. Thank you.